How's it? In this video, I'm going to show you how I built this new website for my agency using Claude Design and how I'm hosting it completely free. So I'm not paying a monthly subscription in order to have this website live. And I'm going to walk you through the entire process step by step in this video. And literally the way I built this website is by just holding a button on my keyboard to use Whisper in order to tell Claude what I want to change or what I want to build, just using English, which it's still pretty insane that it's actually able to do this. But yeah, I'm going to show you how to build websites for your business and host it completely free. This website will be in the description below in case you want to check it out. But with that out of the way, let's jump into the video. So the first and most obvious thing is going to be to just go to Claude Design in your Claude sidebar. And then the first thing we're going to do is create a design system. So this is going to have all of your fonts, your branding, your colors, the size of everything, the gradients, the background. So this is going to be the overall vibe of your website. Then we're going to use that to create the website. And then after that, export it to Claude Code, where we're then going to publish and host the website using another tool called Vercel, which allows us to do it for free using GitHub. So yeah, let's start with creating the design system. So in order to create your design system, just go to the tab here at the top, click on create, and then here you can upload literally whatever you have relating to your design. It can be a GitHub repo, code, Figma file, or you can just upload files into like this box over here. So I'm just going to drag and drop my logo as well as the background. And I also have this file. So I'm going to use this one, drag and drop it inside. And then here you can add in more notes or comments about this. So I'm going to say a clean, minimal Japanese vibe that signals mastery and perfection of the craft. So just something like that. And then you just upload as much as possible. The more context, the better. And then you go and click on continue to generation and then click on generate. I'm just mentioning that this is using the latest model of Opus for the visual reasoning. So it is going to burn through all of your tokens if you're not on the max plan. So just keep that in mind. If you still have stuff to do with Claude and you're just on the pro plan, you might want to do this at the end, closer to when your tokens reset. And then the next week you can actually build the website. But yeah, just a warning that this is going to take a lot of tokens. All right, so as you can see, Claude created the design system, and literally all you have to do is just go through each of these and either tell Claude that it looks good or that it still needs some work. So this one, for example, I can say something like, let's change the normal body text to the Montserrat font, something like that. Submit it, and now it's going to go ahead and change it. And then you just go through everything, the colors, the spacing, the different buttons that's going to be on the website, the cards. The more accurate this is according to what you want, the easier it is going to be to actually build out the website. So spend some time on this, make sure it's perfect. And then once you're done, you have your design system and you can go back and actually create the website. Now, in order to use the design system, we want to go to the design systems tab and then publish it. And then on the left-hand side, you will be able to switch between your different design systems. And also just mentioning, you can always export your entire design system as a project or HTML, PowerPoint, or PDF. So you can download it and give it to Claude Code. And then Claude Code will be able to use all of your branding assets and everything that you've defined with other projects. Like for example, it's editing my YouTube videos. So all of the animations that you see on my videos is with Claude Code, and it's using this design system for the colors and the fonts and everything. So yeah, just mentioning that you're able to do that. But now that we got this design system published, let's go and create a website. So the first step is just creating a project. So here we can either select prototype, slide deck, or template, or if it's neither of these, we can just go to other. But we want to build a prototype, so you can obviously do this for apps or software, but we're going to create one for a website. So here you just add in a name for your website, select your design system, and then click on create. And then it's going to create the project. And then inside here, you will be able to give it context, the prompt, tell it what it needs to create, and upload any context that it should use in that process. All right, so all you want to do here is just add in your prompt. You can also click on this plus to attach files, code, and designs. And in my case, all of the context about my business is organized in our Notion company brain. So everything from the ICP to the offers, positioning, pricing, vision, everything is inside our Notion workspace, and Claude has access to it through the MCP connection, which I already made a full video on. In case you want to set that up for yourself, I'll leave it in the description below. So all I'm going to do is just tell Claude to go into our Notion workspace, go to the company brain, use all of that as context in order to then create the website. All right, so let's go ahead and give Claude a prompt. Yo, Claude, I want you to go inside our Notion company brain, go through our company brain and offers database, and I want you to use all of that as context and then create a one-page website, so a very short website that specifically talks to our ICP, explains the problem that we're solving and how we solve those problems. So obviously that is very vague, but through the context, it should understand what we want. Let's go ahead and send that off, and then Claude is gonna come back with some questions, and then we just need to answer those, and then Claude will cook up the website. So once you have the questions, just go through each of these and give Claude an answer. So you just select it, or if you wanna change something, you can just type here inside of other. I'm just going to quickly go through this and then just continue and submit it, and then it will use all of that in order to build the website. And basically what Claude Design is just a front end for creating a bunch of code and PNGs and files inside of a folder, which you can always download. So you can download the folder, but then you interact with those files using Claude Design. All right, so as you can see, Claude finished and created a .html file, which we can double click in order to open up a new tab with the website, or in this case, the website, because that was one of his questions. And as you can see, it's using our design system, which looks pretty good. I would probably just change the background. So it messed up there a little bit, but that's the whole purpose of this, is you can leave feedback and make changes. And also just in terms of the copy, it is accurate according to the context inside the company brain. So we're helping e-com business owners solve these problems by building systems and automations, an AI operating system, and this is the person that we are targeting. So in terms of the copy, it is pretty accurate, and I actually like the second one the most. So what I'm going to show you now is how to take one of these websites, or if you just have one, how to take that and actually leave feedback, make changes, and get it to a point where it is ready for you to export and publish. So in order to make changes, you can chat with Claude in the left. You can also upload files. You can comment throughout the website. You can add in tweaks. You can also ask Claude for its own ideas. You can edit the website yourself, and you can also draw in order to show Claude what you want. All of this I will show you, but first I want this website to be its own full page, because that's going to be a lot easier to edit. So let's just tell Claude that. Yo, I like option B. I want you to open it as its own page in a new tab. All right, so as you can see, we got the website as its own page, and now we can go ahead and leave comments. So the first one, I'm just going to leave a comment here on the button and tell it to change the color to black and make the text red. Add in the comment, and as you can see, it's going to show here on the left, and you can just continue and add more comments throughout the website. And then once you have all of the comments, so let's do, for example, change the color to white, add in the comment. And then once you have everything, you can just click on the checkboxes, send to Claude, and then you can go do something else. And then Claude will go and change all of the feedback based on your comments. All right, so as you can see, Claude changed the button as well as the color of this text. Now, obviously, I would want it to change the color of these as well, but just to show, the comments is going to be specific on the elements. So if you want it to change the whole section, then just be more specific and tell it to change the section, or just add it here in the chat. So that is essentially how comments work. And also just worth mentioning, if you share this page and you invite others to your workspace, they can also leave comments. And this tweaks panel will also allow you to collaborate with your team. So what tweaks does is it creates a panel where you can quickly shift between the color or the font or styles of your website. You can also just click on this ideas button, and then Claude will go ahead and create that for you, essentially coming up with its own ideas, but you can also be more specific. So for example, I want you to create a tweak that changes all the red to blue. and then you can just quickly shift through that, and your team can also view that and kind of leave their feedback and what they think. So in this case, I'm just allowing Claude to create its own panel. So let's just wait a second and see what it creates. All right, so Claude finished creating the tweak panel, which you can move around. You can also show or hide it. And this allows you to quickly change different elements of your website. So it actually did the example that I mentioned of changing the text to blue. We can change the font here as well. We can change the background. So this allows you to quickly switch between different design ideas, you and your team. And let's say you want to decide what buttons to use. You can, instead of just telling Claude to change the buttons, you can first have it create 3 different designs, and then you can switch between those designs and get a feel for the best one. And then you tell Claude to actually go and update it with the 3rd option as an example. All right, so that is the tweaks option. The next one is going to be edit. This is more if you want to change the text yourself. So I would recommend to mainly use this for the text, but you could also change colors and the spacing and everything like that. So you just click on the element that you want to change. So I can change the button, for example, or if I want to change the text in the button, I just double click and then remove the text. Or in this case, I want to replace the word 10 with the number 10. So I just add that in. And then if you deselect edit, it is going to send it to Claude, where it's going to make sure that everything is accurate and that the HTML file is also updated. And then the last option here is markup. So here you can draw on the website and tell Claude what you want to change. So for example, if I want to move the callout box a little bit to the left like that, I would just draw it and then tell Claude, move the callout box to the left, send it off, and then it's going to screenshot it and send it in the chat and then update the website. And then we just refresh at the top when it has made those changes. So as you can see, it moved the callout box to the left, but now everything looks worse in my opinion. So I'm just going to tell Claude, undo this change, and then it's just going to undo it because yeah, this doesn't look good. But just to show, you can draw and then tell Claude how to actually move the elements around and what you want to change. There we go. The callout box is back in its original position. And now we've gone through all of these different ways of making changes to the website. The last one is just if you want to add new sections, you would just tell Claude here in the chat what you want to add. You can make all of the changes just through prompting, but sometimes it's easier to just use these. And also something else that I would recommend before you export the website, before you're finished, just tell Claude to make it mobile optimized, because that is something that people forget about. So just tell Claude, make sure it is optimized for mobile, and also to open it in a new tab so that you can see for yourself. And then once your website is finished, so you just go through that process multiple times until you're happy. Then what you do, you click on share in the top right, click on export, click on project archive, and then click download. And then you can download this entire project as a zip file, which is going to contain all of these different folders and files that we have here. All right, so once you've downloaded your project, the next step is going to Claude Code, selecting one of your projects, and then just unzipping that folder and then dragging and dropping it inside. So as you can see here, we have the demo folder, which is everything that you see here on Claude Design. So all that Claude Design is just a visual front-end interface in order to build out these different files. So once you have all of this on your computer, just move it into the correct folder, into whichever folder Claude Code has access to, and now it can actually use all of that in order to host it. So in order to host the website for free, we're going to use 2 different tools. The first one is going to be GitHub, which is where we're going to upload our folder with all of our website files. And the second one is going to be Vercel, which is connected to our GitHub account and what we're going to use in order to actually publish and host the website. Now, hopefully this goes without saying, but you need a Vercel and a GitHub account. So if you don't have one yet, make sure to create one and then go back to Claude Code and then just paste this in. It will be in the description of this video. So you can just copy paste this and this will install the Vercel MCP, where you would just have to restart Claude Code and then open it in your browser in order to authenticate. Right, so as you can see, it gave us a link. So all you do is just click it and then just allow access, click on allow, and then Claude has access to your Vercel account. Alright, so we successfully connected Vercel, and now the next one is going to be to connect GitHub. So just go to your GitHub settings and then scroll down to the bottom, go to developer settings, select personal access tokens, the classic option, and then generate new token, the classic option. And you might just have to sign in with your email, and then you can create your token. Alright, so once you've verified your email, you just want to set a name for your token and then change the expiration date to no expiration, and then select this first group. The rest isn't really that important. All you need access to is this first one, and then at the bottom, click on generate token. And once you have your GitHub token, just copy it, go to Claude code, and then tell Claude to create a .env file for API keys, because this is much safer than just pasting the keys inside of the chat. So as you can see, we got our .env file, and in order to show the hidden files, just hold Shift, Command, and full stop in order to show or hide them. And once you have it, just double click it, and this is again where you add in your API keys so that you're not pasting them in chats, because that is very unsafe and not really smart to do. That is how a bunch of people got hacked using OpenClaw. So you just add it in, exit, and then you go back to Claude and tell it, okay, I've added my GitHub API key, see if you have access. So then it will go and just check if it can use your API key in order to access everything that we gave access to when we created the key. And if at any point you want to know what it has access to, you can just ask it. So in this case, can you add new repos, as that is what we would need to do for the website. And it said yes. So now that means that GitHub is connected and Vercel is also connected. So we can go ahead and host the website. All right, now let's tell Claude to actually publish the website. Yo, Claude, I want you to publish the systemize.html file. I want you to publish it on GitHub as a repo, connect it to Vercel, and then publish the website. And let me know if there is anything that I need to do in order to get this website live. That should be enough for Claude to understand what we want to do. And let's go ahead and send it and then wait for Claude to finish. Okay, so Claude finished, and here we have our GitHub repo, our project inside. It is currently set to public, so we just want to tell Claude to set the GitHub repo to private. And then if we go to Vercel, then you will see that we have our website over here. You might just have to connect the GitHub to Vercel in your settings. It will also pop up here. So just make sure to connect it, but once GitHub is connected with Vercel, everything should be good. And yeah, okay, our GitHub repo is private. Let's refresh this and see. There we go. It is set to private. Now let's see if the website works. In this case, it does not work. We're getting an error. So let's just tell Claude that we're getting a 404 error and that it needs to fix it. So it found the issue. It was referencing the wrong file. So let's go ahead and click on this new link. And yeah, this looks nothing like it's supposed to. So just tell Claude that it looks off, something is wrong, and that it needs to fix it. And then you just do that until the website is fully live. All right, so Claude fixed the problem. It also opened up this preview and took a screenshot to confirm. And if I click on the link, it will open up the website. Now, obviously, if this is your actual website, you would spend a lot more time inside of Claude Design and make sure all of the buttons work. It's mobile optimized. The edges are filled in, but obviously I just made this for the tutorial. But yeah, we can now go to this domain and we have our website completely free, not paying any monthly subscriptions. Now, obviously you don't want an ugly domain. You want to connect it with the one that you already have. So just go to Vercel, click on the three dots, click on manage domains, and then click on edit. And then this is where you add in your new domain. So I'm just going to use one that I'm not currently using, and then just make sure it is set to production. Click on save, and then you can click on remove all domain, click save, and then it will redirect it to the DNS settings, which you can then add into your DNS provider. So just click on this, and then this you just need to copy. So here we need an A record with the @ name. So then we would just go to Namecheap, for example, add in an A record, add in @ as the name, paste this in, and then go back to Vercel, and then do the same for this one. So txt, so let's add that in. So that would be this one, add in the value, and then just go back, copy this, paste it in, click on save, and now we should be good to go. And we just need to give it a second or two in order to update everything, refresh it, and then we should have our website live and published to our new domain. So yeah, this might take a while, but that is pretty much all you need to do. And if you're stuck, you can just ask Claude how to do it for your specific provider. Okay, there we go. It's generating the certificate, which means that it has gone through and it is working. And if we go to that domain, then the website will show. So let's go ahead and click on this domain. And as you can see, it opened it in a new tab with our new domain, and we have our website loaded. So yeah, that is pretty much how you build websites with Claude Design, host it for free using Vercel, and also connect your existing domain. But if you're running a business, then publishing the website is only the first step. The second step is the data. So if you want to see how to install Google Analytics onto your website, automate the data into Notion, and use Claude Cowork in order to generate weekly IO reports, then click the video that's on the screen now, and I'll see you there.